What's up guys, macadii here. Now today I'm bringing you guys a rescheduled battle from week 7 of the IEP where I was against the Pewter Pin Missiles. Now their draft is extremely scary from the point at which they have Mega Pinsir, and I really struggle against that thing because that thing is a horrific wall breaker. So, alongside this as well, he had potential Belly Drum Azumarill, also things like the Granbull and stuff like that really put a stop to Hitmonchan, though he had a lot of checks to some of my sort of normally really good win conditions and stuff like that, which was made things a lot harder. So I had beaten him twice before with Hitmonchan, so I knew the Granbull was coming back because he did not want to get be swept again by Unburden. So what I decided to go for was we had a Donphan, which was bulky offensive, a Latios, which was not my Mega, it was the normal Latios with Bolt Beam and Psychic, because Bolt Beam did a lot to his draft, and also the Psychic hit both the Rotom and also the Granbull really hard as well. So that was my plan for that. We also had physically defensive Umbreon and also physically defensive Dusclops, just because they handled both the Megas pretty well from there. We also had another physically defensive thing, which was the physically defensive Venusaur, which was designed to shut down Mega Sceptile and also stop Belly Drum Azumarill as well, because that thing would have been a massive problem. Also, because there's been a few changes to his draft, he's actually lost all of his steel types and rock types apart from the Excadrill. So his Excadrill, I think, was the only thing on the draft that could really take my Chinchino on. So I decided to ban it. So I've got Banded Chinchino here, which if that could get in for free, would just absolutely wreck through the draft. Even defensive Granbull does seem to struggle against it a little bit. So that was probably his #1 answer to it. So that was the plan for this at least. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight into the battle. So first of all, I led off with Hannibal because I knew rocks would be really crucial. Excadrill is completely stopped by Dusclops, so I knew once my rocks were up, they were pretty much there to stay, as long as I could keep my Dusclops alive. So he leads off with the Sceptile here. He ends up forcing me out into my Venusaur here, goes to the Giga Drain. Now, considering the fact he didn't Mega Up and also the fact he brought Pinsir, I was sure this was just normal Sceptile, either Unburden, or it was going to be sort of Scarf or Specs, probably Specs. So he does go into Volunteers, I double out into Hannibal. Now I decided this was the turn I would go and get my rocks up, because A, rocks are huge, B, I don't think there was a massive amount this Rotom could do. Overheat obviously would do it quite a lot, but Hannibal's main job was to get rocks up, and that's what it does really well. He didn't really have many rockers on his team, potentially. I mean, Pinsir could have had rocks, but that's kind of pointless, and also the Excadrill I doubted would. If anything, I had to have rocks, to be the Pinsir. Not Pinsir, the Excadrill. So he does go for the light screen here, revealing that. So he does go for the Willow here, ends up missing, as I just go for the Heal Bell, because I need to keep that Donphan at a good enough health. Because obviously, Ice Shard does a fair amount to that Sceptile, and that Sceptile does outspeed pretty much my whole team from there. So I go for the Wish here, because I knew I could then pass off into whatever I wanted to. But I decide to stay in here as he goes to the Volt Switch, goes out into Gunter here, as I just go for another Heal Bell just to try and get rid of that burn. So I'm just in a really comfortable position. I go out into my Mega Venusaur because this is a switch all of the time. There's literally nothing this guy could do outside of maybe an Acrobatics, but even that does about 30%. So he does go on to Volunteer here as I Mega up, and I just go for the Leech Seed here just so I can get some HP back, as I also have Sludge Bomb and Giga Drain on there. So I go for the Sludge Bomb hoping that I can take a good, sort of hopefully get poison, but he does end up going for the Will-O-Wisp here, trying to spread these burns, but with Umbreon being around and the fact I can wall quite a lot of his team, means that status isn't actually too bad for me. So he does end up going for the Overheat here. I did predict him to do that, so I decided to go for the Synthesis here just to make sure that I could finish this in a really good amount of health. But the problem is now the Pinsir can come in, but he decides not to bring the Pinsir in. He decides to bring out Razor to try and get rid of those rocks, as I just go into PP Thief as he tries to go for Rapid Spin, but that's really not going to be doing anything. Goes out into Granbull here as I get the Willow off on the Granbull, so this thing is not going to be able to touch me, but he does have the Lum, which really worried me. I tried to go for the Will-O-Wisp as he has the Taunt, goes out into Butterbean as I go out into my Venusaur because I knew that was a safe switch 100% of the time, forcing him back out into Razor here. I do go for the Sludge Bomb here because I knew even if Razor comes back out, that's not a problem. I could better off playing it safe at this point. Go out into PP Thief as he tries to Rapid Spin again, but I'm not going to let him Rapid Spin. There is no way those rocks are there to stay. So I go for the Will-O-Wisp here because I knew I could get a good amount on something, and Gunter couldn't do a huge amount, but Venusaur is a 100% stop to this. So I go back out into Venusaur, and this means I can get Synthesis up, which is what I really need. So he ends up going out into Pinsir here. Now this This was a really tricky choice for me because I could either switch out and potentially let this thing get an SD up, or I could go for a Sludge Bomb here. So I didn't end up going out into Where's Venatran, as he does go just straight for the return, doing about 50%, and I was like, oh, it's fine, I can live this. But he does reveal he's got the X-Scissor though, and the X-Scissor does end up taking me out, which, while it's important because that's a really good wall of mine gone, it was probably my least important wall considering I would struggle with both the fairy types and also the Focus Blast on there and things like that. But this means Deltas can come in now, and I could force this guy out. So now, if rocks are up and rocks stay up, he's going to be at 25% with that, which would be absolutely fantastic. So I go for the T-Bolt here, as he decides to stay in with Razor, go out into Razor. I just get back down to PP Thief, because PP Thief can take whatever hits. That was a crit Iron Head as well, which is just absolutely insane. So I do go for the Will-O-Wisp here, getting a burn on the Granbull, so I can just literally sit here now, be really fat. And he does end up going for the taunt. I figured, why not? There's no harm in me doing that. As he does go for a very aggressive play out into his Pinsir. As I go out into Venusaur. Excellent double on his part. But I end up staying in and sacking Venusaur now, which does seem kind of ridiculous. But I think it was the play to make, because now I put him in a position. Because Hannibal can now come in and I can Ice Shard him. And he now either has to stay in and die, or go out and then die to rocks later on. And hope that he can get rid of rocks later on. So he does end up switching out here, which is fair enough. And I end up going out. I end up staying in because I knew this thing might be going for Belly Drum, and it was definitely worth going for that because I still had Deltas, and I also had my Chinchino as well, which could do a lot of damage to that Pinsir because it outsped. And also, even at +2, I could take a quick attack with my Latios as well. So I figured it was worth it. He does try and go for the Belly Drum here. I was not having any of that, especially with the Mega Venusaur down as well. So he does go for the Aqua Jet, as I just KO him straight away with the Earthquake there. So I'm in quite a strong position, but he does still need to try and get rid of those rocks. So he goes down to Gunter here, pulling a double out into Razor, as I end up going out into Dusclops, which is absolutely fine. I can just sit here all day. So he does go for the Iron Head here, as I go for the rest, because I just need to try and get a heal up here, and I didn't want to risk him going out into Granbull and taunting me. He does go out into Granbull here, so I am fast asleep, but I end up getting the rest on the Sleep Talk, which is a shame. Now, I wasn't sure if a taunt would work, and whether Sleep Talk would then fail. And I can't use Sleep Talk, but it was fine. I knew I could handle this guy and Play Rough. Play Rough just does nothing at all. Dusclops, this just shows the power of Dusclops. I love Dusclops so much. Goes down to Gunter here. Giga Drain does 33%, which is a fair amount. But I can just go for Nightshades here, and I can take this guy out with the combination of that and the burn. I am in a slightly precarious position because the Razor could come in now. And if he manages to get the spin off there, I might have a chance of losing this. I still think I had a really good chance to win, but luckily he does get another crit, which is a pain, and I'm just getting Sleep Talk rests completely, which is just really painful. And I get the Nightshade just to get a bit of damage off there, and he does go for one final Iron Head, as I'm just literally stalling this guy out with rest and Sleep Talks, because all I needed, once I got a burn on this, that was it, that was GG. Either I would get that through Sleep Talks, which I do end up getting there, and I do get a burn on the Razor, and that is pretty much it, because he has no form of recovery in Razor. He's going to die to all the burns. He can't even possibly kill my entire draft from there, or my entire team from there, and that is going to be the end of the match. He does end up flinching me, but that's not too bad, and I can literally just sit here and be fat, and just completely stall out this guy with more rests and stuff like that, and as you can see, he does end up going down to burn this turn. And that is the end of the match, because Ricenip comes in, and that is the end of that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. This is probably one of the battle I'm quite proud of this one. I think I worked really hard for prepping this one, and it seemed to go really well. So I hope you guys enjoyed the battle, and I will see you guys at the next one. Macadii out.